up, Toots? What's shaking? What's today? Sunday! Hello, happy Sunday. It's actually early Monday morning, and we're here for our weekly Oracle forecast for the week. How's everybody doing? I am good. I'll admit, I'm slightly buzzed. I went to work tonight. We all had a lot of fun. It was fairly chill, slow, kind of cloudy evening in. But we've been kind of busy all weekend, so everybody was just sort of like ready for that pace. And then afterwards, we all decided that we really needed a drink. And then we decided that we wanted to treat ourselves to the cute place. And then we all spent everything that we made tonight on the cute cocktails in the cuter bar with the cuter people. It was worth it though. We almost went to the cheaper place, but we were like, it's just like ugly sports bar with bad lighting and like people who are like at the end of their rope. And like we could go to the cute historical brownstone building with craft cocktails and good food and cute people. And good lighting. It's like, oh, and they have like noir blinds. Like you feel like you're in the movie Chinatown while you're in there, and there's like, you know, nice like ceiling fans. So it's, I don't know, it's a cute atmosphere. It's not like cold sports bar ugly. It's like historical, charming, eclectic furniture, flowers on the table with like a candle. So it was much better. But we all had a good time. And then I was talked into staying one last round to close out, and I did. And we were having these cute little frozen, almost like creamsicle push-up pop flavored drinks. But they had a little bit of grapefruit and a little bit of Averna, so it was like a little drier. It wasn't so sweet, but those were really good. They were very dangerous. They were very tiny, and they were very expensive, and I wanted it to be like a really big, huge, like... In college, there was this place called Gentleman Jim's, and they would have this big drink in a foam cup with like a lid and a straw called the 8 liquor ass kicker. And this is like the ruin of many people in college. I mean, it was like one of those giant, like big gulp almost like drinks. And I mean, it was like a guaranteed blackout, but I was hoping for like a slushie that size because they were so delicious, but it was better that they did not. They came in like one of those little tiny, very tiny glasses where you're like, it's like one drink. I'm gonna drink this in like 1 second, then I'm gonna have to buy another one. And that's why we all spent all the money we made tonight. But it was a good time. It was worth it. I don't do that often. And I almost didn't go. And I was like, no, I should go have fun. And so I did. And then I almost decided to do the video in the morning instead. But I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it tonight. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling awake. I'm going to have to go home and kind of wind down anyway. And I've got, you know, our post tomorrow. And so I don't want to overload our content. So yeah, so let's find out what we need to be aware of as this coming week develops. What are kind of our spiritual lessons and assignments this week? Okay, we've got, I don't know how to pronounce that. It's like AJ and A. I don't know. But this is the third eye chakra. Okay, so inner vision is going to be, pay attention to what you're visualizing in your mind. Be careful not to catastrophize. Be careful to be envisioning things that you want to happen. If you guys are fans of Abraham Hicks at all, you may have come across their videos that talk about getting on a train of thought and like getting on a high-flying disc is what they call it, when you're getting in a really high vibe and you're opening the vortex of creation. And things are getting really easy, and they're really like, you know, kind of easy to manifest. And so part of that, they were talking about how if you can hold a thought in that high flying disc state of mind for like 16 seconds, it starts the process of bringing the manifestation into the physical reality. So when you are observing your thoughts, and you catch yourself fantasizing about an argument that you're like replaying through your mind, or maybe planning or strategizing for a dress rehearsing for a possible like tragedy or an emergency, or, you know, you just have like these dark thoughts playing out and these like, I don't know, like dark prophetic thoughts, and you're like, oh, you're getting all caught up in them and they're actually making you stressed out and worried. Like, don't keep on that trail. Like, stop yourself, because not only are you releasing the chemicals in your body, because when your brain does not understand the difference between your imagination and what like we watch on a movie or a video and like what we're watching in real life. So chemically speaking, our brains react the same as if it were happening to us. And also, after 16 seconds, our like manifesting powers start kicking in, and we start condensing and crystallizing this thing into being. We start conjuring this thought, and so it starts becoming a thought form in the astral realm. Like, when we have thoughts, they become thought forms in the astral realm, and they take on a certain sort of like life to them, as if they actually happened on some other dimensional level. So be careful about what you're thinking. Be careful to catch yourself before you start catastrophizing for more than 16 seconds, and try to flip it around if you can catch yourself doing it, and think about something wonderful and positive that you're trying to manifest. Embrace. I always am comforted by this card, because whatever it is, it means that no matter what's happening, it's playing out for our highest good. So not only accept the way that some things might be playing out this week, but embrace them, because there's a reason behind the way it's unfolding the way it is, or there's something that you need to observe about it. I started to say a lesson connected, or like something to like a lesson involved, but I was reminded that last night, one of the important points that I almost forgot that I think was really important to interject was the language around talking about how certain things in our life happen to teach us lessons or to teach us things or whatever. And sometimes that feels almost like too authoritarian, or like we're being like corrected for like something that's like bad or wrong or whatever. But I think to think of it as a training opportunity is more accurate at times, right? So whatever is happening this week, embrace it as something that is playing out for a reason, and it is more often than not a training opportunity to help us become basically superhumans and transcend our ego and correct our soul. Correct our soul's weaknesses, so that we can be magical co-creators with divine and have a life full of fulfillment and certainty, and live in a state of heaven on earth, right? Okay, so what is next? What else do we need to be aware of? What's going to help us embody our potential and avoid pitfalls and overcome our shortcomings? Ooh, anger. Okay, so we may be prone to anger this week. And I did listen to, so in Kabbalah, we learned that like every day has a particular energy to it. And this is the kind of energy that repeats cyclically over each year. And every week, Kabbalistically, has a certain energy that aligns with a certain portion of the Torah, or specifically the Zohar, which is a commentary on the Bible. It's the deepest commentary. It has to do with the mystical and the deepest spiritual aspects and interpretations of the Bible. And so for the next 3 weeks, I picked up that there is this energy of time opening up that is going to be particularly challenging, because there's a lot of light coming in right now that is preparing us for Rosh Hashanah. And it's Rosh Hashanah is going to, I think, falls towards the end of September, but it's sort of like our big it's like the Jewish New Year, because Rosh Hashanah is actually the birthday of all human souls. That's the day that apparently Adam Kadmon, or Adam as in Adam in the Garden of Eden, was created. So that is the birth of the human soul. And so there's a lot of energy coming through at this time of year. But as we are learning, when the energy of the light comes in, it can often cause a little bit of challenge because it is so powerful that we're having to ground it. And any of that excess energy can create a little bit of chaos, a little bit of disruption, because we need to earn the vessel before we can like really contain that energy and sustain it and ground it and embody it, right? So a way to speed up the embodying process is probably meeting challenges that are helping you transcend your old self, overcome patterns, and step into your like up-leveled next level. So as this light is coming in over the next 3 weeks, it's in what is called the seed level of the top of the triad of the supernal triad. So in the tree of life, the glyph of reality, the light is coming in, awakening in our consciousness, but because it's at a seed level, it's in the thought level, we have to be very careful about the fragility of these this inspiration and this energy and these ideas coming in, and they could very quickly become tainted with fear, lack, and doubt in our ego, right? And so we're trying to pause and slow down so we don't become reactive and egotistical and angry. So we might be tempted to be very defensive or sensitive over the next couple of weeks. I know it feels like all the Hebrew holidays have to do with like this is going to be one of the most challenging times of year, and then it's like then finally like Hanukkah comes around and it's like it's mostly just absorbing the light. There's not a lot of like hardship involved. It's just good positive times. So no wonder we all look forward to that one. But yeah, so over the next couple of weeks, watch your anger, watch any kind of like rush of emotional triggering that comes up and dissect that and look and see where it's coming from. And also, just more so than getting lost in the process of looking where it's coming from, stay aware that in the moment you are just meeting the situation with even neutrality is better than blowing a short circuit by lashing out, right? So if we can avoid any kind of evil speech over the next 3 weeks, and also avoid making empty promises, because if you say you're going to do something and then you don't do it, what has happened is talking about the thing that you're going to do gives you the satisfaction, and people are like, oh, that sounds cool, yeah, you should do that, and all this stuff. And so you are sort of building your ego up on this kind of energy that you don't deserve, you haven't earned yet. And so it's basically writing a hot check or like using a credit card, and you're building up interest. So if you don't follow through with what you said you were going to, then you leave an empty vessel. And the vessel wants to be filled with the light, but it can't be filled with the light unless you follow through with the action to receive the light. So what happens is if you start creating empty vessels, then the empty vessel is vulnerable to a dark energy or a corruption of the energy that would have been in it, and it causes chaos, or it causes things to go poorly or sourly. So be careful of that. Be mindful of your words. Best not to say anything at all rather than make empty promises or speak negatively. And that is one of the hardest things to do, is watch yourself before you say anything tempting to say sometimes. All right, and one more card to round us out. Ooh. Death. Okay, the end of this cycle, and I think the completion of things that used to make us angry in the past. I think that we have just really been in this huge transformation for so long, and now we're finally to the other side of it, at least for now, and we've up-leveled and we've gotten into a new level. And so I think that this is the residual pain and trauma of the distant past, things even from the recent past that we haven't even been able to sift through because we've been so busy unpacking all of the other like baggage that got us to the most recent damage, right? So this is just the last of getting everything cleaned. You know how sometimes when you clean the house and you sweep like the kitchen and you keep walking through the kitchen throughout the day. So then you end up having to sweep it again. And then you mop the kitchen, but then you notice that after you mop it, you've like shaken some things loose. And so then you have to sweep it again. Like the fact that we keep having like all of these residual like waves of like, well, a few weeks ago it was like regret, remorse, and then it was sadness, and then it was like, distant bitterness from, things gone sour. And so now we're like, okay, we've made it to anger. And it's like gradually we're moving up the emotional vibration scale. And anger is actually an improvement upon sadness. Anger has more grit and backbone than sadness does. So it is actually a higher vibration. So good on ya. We're now, we've elevated from bitter hags to just raging cunts. Oh my goodness. No apologies for my language, just deal with it. Okay, so death. So now we're finished with this. We're ready to just put it to bed and leave it there and move forward and resurrect and have a new life ahead of us and a new attitude and a new outlook and just feel differently about things and see things differently. And I think that that's really what all of this is saying. It's like, hey, it's time to see things in a different way. And it's time to really pay attention to what we let our minds think about and get away from us, right? Embrace what is happening, because no matter what is happening, even if something isn't playing out the way you want it to, there's something valuable that you need to see in the way that it's playing out. There's something that is being illustrated or presented to you, and the universe wants you to notice something about that, right? So embrace the moment and try to look for clues or hints about what it's trying to tell you about different aspects of your life, starting with the inner realm, what's going on with the inner realm, and why are these external situations manifesting as a result of that. But also vice versa is true. When we change the way we handle things on the outside, it also like has a reciprocal effect, and it helps us maintain what we have started to cultivate on the inside, right? If we start behaving better, we have a more harmonious life, right? If you're like that person that goes out drinking all the time and is always leaving their debit card, and then, oh my God, they have a flat tire again, and oh, they got a parking ticket and they got towed. Like when you stop, like there's a lot of chaos inside that creates that chaos on the outside. And you have to change that on the inside so you can stop behaving like that on the outside. But as a result, when you stop behaving like that on the outside, then you're less frustrated with yourself, and you're not running around all over town trying to find your debit card and like getting another tire fixed and like trying to go get your car out of impound. You know what I mean? Like we've all known people like that, and it becomes exhausting. You're like, are you not an inconvenience to yourself? Because like you're certainly an inconvenience to the rest of us. Okay, so we're letting go of the anger. We're embracing the situations that we have experienced. We are embracing the way that things have turned out. We are embracing where we are in the present, because if we do not embrace, we are going to be angry and mad about it and like dissatisfied. And so we are moving on from this. Like nobody wants to be this. We're trying to be like, we want to be like this, right? So we're not going to be angry anymore. We're going to embrace the moment. We're going to accept how things are in the now. And if they're not satisfactory, then we're either going to make the changes that need to be made. And if there's nothing that we can do to change it, then we will either remove ourselves from the situation and find a different situation. Or if we can't do that, then we just determine within ourselves to accept the situation as it is and move forward the best we can to manage our side of the fence and protect like our like cultivated good feelings. So that means that you have to put up emotional boundaries around yourself where you don't let other people bother you so much, right? You don't let them get under your skin. Put that boundary up, right? Don't let people under your skin. Death to all these patterns. We're not doing that anymore. We're not going there. We're not getting angry. We're not shoulda, coulda, woodying and being like, I'm impatient, I'm resisting, this is miserable, I hate this, blah, blah, blah. We're getting rid of all of that talk, and we're just embracing the moment, accepting what is, making the changes if we need to, taking action, but stop fighting the moment, all right? Be in the moment, be present with the moment, observe the moment, see what the moment is trying to tell you or show you or teach you or reveal to you or train you for, right? And take it with, take the gift that each moment presents. And then be mindful of the way that you're visualizing. Your imagination is going to get a boost, or you might feel that it is very vivid, that your third eye is opening, and just be careful not to catastrophize. And remember to visualize what you want, how you want it to play out. And remember that once you get past 16 seconds, you're starting to really crystallize your manifestation. All right, you guys, sleepy. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to go to bed soon. I think I might water my garden in the morning. I said that, but I also said I was going to do this video in the morning. I think I might water the garden tonight. All right, you guys. This has been me in my Where's Waldo outfit. I'm going to show it to you. Where's Liz? Find me in the crowd. Not on my little leather boots and everything. This guy earlier at the bar was like, I love your overalls. And I was like, thanks. And in my mind, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm not wearing overalls. I'm wearing a pair of pants with suspenders. Like, why don't people know anything anymore, y'all? Like, when did people get so fucking dumb? Like, what happened in the last, with a 10-year gap of people being born where somebody doesn't understand what overalls are? I was looking, I saw this meme the other day, and it was one of those screenshots of things that people have said on Twitter, and this guy was like, have they ever thought about making virgin edibles without the drugs? And somebody was like, yeah, bro, you mean food? I can't anymore. The button pushers don't even push the buttons right. I just this is why we're doomed. This is why the world is ending. We're gonna have these too stupid to survive before we run out of resources. If you haven't seen the movie Idiocracy by Mike Judd, I don't know, I'm blanking on the proper pronunciation of his name right now, but Beavis and Butthead guy, he's the genius of the 90s. Yeah, that was a prophetic movie, and we are there. We have surpassed it. We were there a while back. The only thing that we're not doing is watering our crops with Gatorade. Idiocracy, watch it. It's terrifying. We're living in it. All right, you guys. Love you. Ciao.